I'm sure you've all heard certain sound bites. There is one particular part that stood out to me.
And I get this in the street from people. People point at me and say, you are the last chance we've got to get this country back on track. We are the last chance the country's got to get this country back on track. And that is why, let's make Britain great again. I've heard that phrase somewhere else before, but I agree with it.
Well, just on that particular point, can Reform UK make Britain great again? Because it's certainly not great right now. 03456060973, text 84850. Can Reform UK make Britain great again? Your thoughts on that, given the speech yesterday. Now, there was another bit, and this was perhaps the most popular thing he said.
But most of all, we need to make Britain proud again. We've lost our sense of who we are. We refuse to acknowledge publicly the Judeo-Christian culture and heritage that we have, and that underpins everything that we are. We refuse to have our kids' minds poisoned in schools and universities with a twisted interpretation of the history of these amazing islands. We will not stand for it.
Now, you see, I think that, as well as all the other things I just read out to you, which were all policy positions about what's going to be done, which he says in very plain English, he can connect with people, he's not wonkish in any way. I mean, he's very clear about what he wants to do. I think that point about the fact that he feels that a lot of people in this country feel that we have lost the sense of who we are taps into something. It taps into something very, very deep. And that is why, and we can talk about flag waving and all the rest of it, and you know my views, I do not believe that people should put up flags illegally around places, lampposts, be they Palestinian or St. George or the Union flag or any others. I don't endorse it. But what you can see happening at the moment, by the way, I love flags, and I think they should just be flown in the proper places. Maybe we should have more flagpoles around the place officially. That's my position. But as I say, I was in Norfolk just earlier this week on holiday for a couple of days, and I did see a lot of flags. And this whole thing is getting ahead of steam. Why? Because people do feel, a number of people in this country, and in my view, I can understand where it's coming from because I've been tracking it for 25 years. Doesn't surprise me where we're going and where we have got to. When you have unleashed the genie out of the bottle of identity politics, don't be surprised if the majority then feel that they need to actually assert themselves. It's quite natural. I mean, if every minority is going to be encouraged to assert its difference rather than its commonality, right? And it's not anymore about irrespective of background being treated equally but being treated differently because of it. If that's where we headed, then don't be surprised if this unleashes forces and identity politics amongst people who are majority white in this country. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. Does it surprise you? And I do think that when he says we've lost our sense of who we are, I can just hear people say, typical divisive rhetoric, Trumpian nonsense being imported into the UK, shock horror. That's all fine. It's the very same people who never thought Brexit would happen, who come out with that kind of stuff, and who will be very surprised if Farage becomes Prime Minister, because they'll say, how could this happen? How could this awful individual who spouts all this divisive rhetoric ever become Prime Minister of this country? Well, I'll tell you why. Because what he's saying about Judeo-Christian values, and we're not a religious state in that sense, right? We've got a separation of church and state. We're not religious. This isn't some Iranian Islamic republic or something, right? We're not Christian republic, but we are based on Judeo-Christian values. Of course we are. I mean, just look at the House of Lords. Just look at the legal system. Just look at anywhere. Of course we are, and that is something that we should be proud of. and something that, in my view, we can easily, comfortably coexist with other faiths and other religions and other perspectives. But fundamentally, that is the underpinning of this country. And there's nothing wrong in saying that, nothing shy about saying that. No one should feel displaced or threatened by that. But the very fact that he has to say that, and that people react in that way and clap for that long, shows that people feel that this is something that is now unfashionable to even talk about.
I think he's a real fake. He's a copycat of Trump. He, what did he say the other day? Oh, we would stop the votes in 2 weeks. I remember Trump saying he'd stop a war in a day. That didn't come out. And nor is stopping the votes.
We will stop the votes, and we will detain and deport those who illegally break into our country, doing what nearly every normal country around the rest of the world does. You cannot come here illegally and stay. We will stop the votes within 2 weeks of winning government.
It's easy to say what you like when you're not in government, and he's just a populist, a talker. He's got a new blue coach going, whatever colour it is. He had one that had 350 million for the NHS done as well. He's just a populist politician who's going to burn out way before the next election. And when it comes to real voting, because there's no Middle England people who really vote for him. They're not having their say at the moment. But they will say what they want at a general election. And, to think that he could, you're talking about getting 300 or so seats is absolute pie in the sky, because they've got no experience. It's proved that when in Lincolnshire, half the councillors resigned. They weren't up to the job. They certainly won't be up to being MPs.
Alan, just on populism, can I just ask you about this? Because would you say that Keir Starmer's saying that he would smash the gangs is populist?
Well, it's a statement of intent, no doubt about that.
Yeah, but is it populist?
Well, everybody wants the votes to stop. Everybody's saying the same thing, and
right.
so he's no different.
Is it populist, Alan?
Well, it's something that needs to be said.
No, but is it populist, Alan? Is it populist?
Well, that statement is, yeah, but it's also
good.
It's a silly statement to say we're going to stop it in 2 weeks.
Okay, I just wanted to be fair on this, because when people...
but it's only one thing. All his political life has been a populist thing, but he hasn't actually put anything into effect.
Okay, was that we're going to get the fastest growth in the G7 populist?
Sorry, say that again?
Was that we're going to achieve the fastest growth in the G7 populist?
The statements of a government is different to somebody who's not in government. To make
no. Hang on a second. So, what qualifies as populism? You're not in government. That qualifies as populism?
Yeah, well, I want to see something positive, without a doubt. But he in the past, he's done so many things. He's never in Parliament. He'd never helped the fishermen. He didn't go to meetings hardly.
Alan,
he goes to America more than he does stay here.
Alan,
he doesn't go to Clacton.
Alan, he's had more influence on British politics in the last 25 years.
Yeah, the wrong influence. Look how it turned out with Brexit. Absolute failure.
Well, who's saying it's a failure yet?
The majority of people in the country would vote again, would have us back in in Europe.
So given that, why do you think that he's topping the polls by 15 points?
It's a popular statement, isn't it? And
what does populism mean to you? I want to nail this, Alan, because people talk about populism, and it is a slur that is put against people who actually come up with simple slogans and simple things that people can understand and actually want done. And when you talk about Trump, yes, you're right. He didn't solve the war in a day. You're absolutely right. It's tougher than he thought. But I tell you what, he has solved: the Mexican border issue. No one's crossing the border now, are they?
I don't know.
No, they aren't. I can tell you they're not, Alan. And that is on the back of concerted efforts and being tough.
Well, I can guarantee that Farage will not solve the the boat situation in 2 weeks. That's for sure.
Well, it might take a bit longer than 2 weeks. I give you that, certainly. But no one's coming out.
Why say that? It's a crazy statement to make, isn't it? Everybody knows how difficult it is to stop the whole situation.
Well, if he's already having conversations with the Albanians before he's even in office, and the Taliban are willing to receive him, maybe he'll have everything in order and hit the ground running. And maybe within the first 2 weeks, he might. I don't know.
Well, I'll believe it when I see it.
Indeed. Alan, thank you for your call. Alan's not convinced. Can Reform UK make Britain great again?